All right, welcome to number 6 of the installment of the Blue Jackets Manual. Number 6, yay! And this is going to start on daily routine. Nearly everything you do at boot camp is designed to prepare you for service in the Navy. On ships, submarines, and naval stations throughout the world, the daily routine is prescribed by a bulletin called the Plan of the Day, POD. It's a very important piece of little paper. It tells you what's going on today that's important. If you have a uniform transition from your navy blues to your navy whites because summer is here, you're no longer going to wear those dark hot uniforms, you're going to wear the light colored uniforms. It says today is the day. So you're not the idiot who shows up dressed in blue when 200 other people are dressed in white. Okay? Usually you do have a uniform inspection on that day. That'll say that as well. That's really important, okay? I have 101 funny stories about inspections. One of them was at AIMD at Whidbey Island. We're all in our grubby working clothes, but you got to keep them neat and such and iron them and so forth. Just because they're working clothes doesn't mean you should look like a slob. And this one guy was a dirt bag, that we used to call him in the Navy as dirt bag. He wouldn't wear socks. So imagine you're wearing leather combat boots or flight deck boots, and these things are solid leather with steel toes. They're to protect your feet, and you're not wearing socks in them. You're in a tiny little room with 2 other guys with lockers on the wall and bunks against the wall and a TV, and there's no, like, if one person laid out, sprawled out in the middle of the floor, that's it. The whole room is taken up. And imagine you're in those tight quarters and your idiot roommate comes in with no socks on because he's too lazy to do laundry, or he lost his socks. Believe it or not, there are people that do that. And they're black wool socks that you're supposed to wear under your boots. And he takes off these boots and his feet just reek. I mean, not only will it ruin your room that you're in, because you're going to have to smell it all night. What are you going to do? You think this guy's going to go jump right in his shower? What about his boots? You think he's going to leave them in the hall? You can't leave them in the hall. So you're going to have to smell this. And so this guy is going along without boots, and he hears there's an inspection. He grabs a can of spray paint, and black spray paint, and he spray paints his ankles black. And he was busted. The Commander Hugel, did a sock check, which is funny because usually you don't have sock checks. They would like check the stenciling of your underwear. You'd pull out just a little bit so they could read the name on your underwear, because you'd be amazed how many people are still in their roommates' underwear and stuff because they're so used to their mommy doing their laundry for them and stuff. It's just horrific, and so that's why we have to have uniform inspections to make sure we're ready. And this guy spray painted his ankles black, and Commander Hugel got a great laugh out of it, but she gave him 2 weeks of extra duty, and part of that extra duty was having a chief have to come over to his barracks room every day and inspect his foot locker and his locker with his clothes and his laundry basket to make sure he had clean clothes to wear. And let me tell you, when the chief has to come to your house every day, after hours, so he doesn't get to go home to his family, he has to come to your little neck of the woods, it's not going to go well. Promise you. So back to school. You have a lot to learn in order to make the transition from civilian to sailor. Much of your time will be spent in classrooms. A typical day of instruction includes a dozen 40-minute periods with 10-minute breaks between periods. Many topics to be covered will include, and I'm not going to go through the whole list here, but the advancement program, the code of conduct and the Geneva Convention, damage control, equipment, drug and alcohol abuse, educational benefits, hazing, honors and ceremonies, inspections, sound-powered phones, everything the Navy uses. You're going to be amazed. Like, you get out of high school and you're like, the last thing you ever want is more education, unless you're one of those rare people that love education. And then all of a sudden you're in the Navy and you spend 2 months in school training. And that's okay. You need to learn all that stuff. And it's not hard stuff. It's not like they're teaching you trig or something like that. Okay? It's just basic common sense things. Some of your classroom training will be augmented by hands-on training, which will give you the opportunity to work with actual equipment and simulate real conditions. Examples of this kind of training are firefighting seamanship, chemical, biological, and radiological, or CBR defense, and survival at sea techniques, where you will actually fight a fire, work with lines and deck equipment, put on a gas mask in a gas chamber, and learn to stay afloat using your clothing as a life preserver. They do teach you some real-world skills and some real Navy skills, and it's really awesome. Those hands-on things are so much fun. You get to hold a fire hose. You get to go in a gas chamber and put on a gas mask, and you got to take it off, and you got to recite one of your general orders before they let you out of the room while you're coughing and sputtering and your eyes are watering. But you got to remember, Millions of people have been through this. You got to be okay. Just have a positive attitude, go through it, and you'll be fine. Some of your classroom training will be, a few jobs in the Navy are completely independent, so a great deal of emphasis is placed upon teamwork. During your training at RTC, military drills such as marching is one way that you and your fellow recruits will learn the importance of instant response to orders and the value of group precision. Later on, when you are helping to launch and recover aircraft on the flight deck of an aircraft carrier, or rescuing a shipmate from the sea, or taking a nuclear submarine into the depths of the ocean, you will fully understand and appreciate the importance of such training. And that is one thing that in the military that I absolutely loved. You could absolutely hate somebody. And let me tell you, I met some people I did not like. Like, they could disappear from the face of the earth and I wouldn't care. But let me tell you, I had enough pride in my uniform and my job that no matter how much I hated them, I worked with them. I made it work. I made sure I was never the problem guy in a group because I didn't like somebody. In fact, the more I disliked somebody, the more professional I was with them. Because you look at the trouble you get in life, it's because you dislike somebody, and if you start treating them unfairly or poorly, it's going to reflect upon you. So that, and you'll see police officers do that too. The more you act like a total jerk, the more cops are more likely, the good cops, they're just going to be yes sir, no sir. They're going to just not engage you. They're going to put you in handcuffs, take you to jail, yes sir, no sir. And let me tell you, then they're going to write everything up in the jail about how you called him a punk and you're going to kick his butt and blah, blah, blah. And the judge reads that, and then you're going to get up in front of the judge now that you've had time to think about it or sober up or whatever your problem was. And oh, please, Your Honor, have pity on me, blah, blah, blah. And the judge is going to be like, no, I'm reading this report right here by the cops, and you were a total jerk. So you're going to get the worst I can give you. Military is the same way. You harass somebody, make things hard for somebody, you get in trouble for it, you're going to pay the price. And so therefore, you have let somebody that you don't like push your buttons, push you over the edge until you do something that is against the rules or against them, and you're going to be the one to get in trouble. And they're just going to smile because they know how to play the game. Don't fall into that trap, okay? Be a professional. That's one thing. Once you're in the military, you got to learn. Be a professional. And that's one thing I really dislike about being a civilian. It's hard to transition from being military to civilian, is because we always had to work together and get things done. Always, 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 always. And yeah, there's always guys pissing and moaning, oh, I can't believe it's Friday at 4 o'clock and we got to sweep the hangar deck, blah, blah, blah. It's like, you know what? The time you're spending complaining, you could spend working and we'd all be out of here quicker. But no, you want to spend a half an hour just sitting over there complaining against the wall. Meanwhile, the job's taking longer. We could have all been out of here, but you're still complaining. I've known with civilians that people would rather, and listen to this very carefully, they would rather fail on their own than succeed with the help of others. I've worked with so many doctors, so many veterinarians. They hire me to come in and fix their practice. And I tell them when they hire me, you are going to pay me a good amount of money to come in and fix this place, and I'm going to fix it. And I'm going to fix the people, and I'm going to put them in the right attitude, because they always blame the people. Oh, the people have the bad attitude. All my employees are always circumventing the way things should be done, and they're always back talking behind my back and, stabbing me in the back and whatever. And I'm going to tell them, I'm going to fix all that. But guess what? I'm going to have to fix you. And you're not going to like that because you're the boss and you sign the paychecks. And sure enough, I fix everything, and then it comes time to fix them. They fight the system, and I'm like, okay, well, my hitch is done here with your business. I did what I promised I was going to do. It's time for me to collect my paycheck and go, and you can do whatever you want to do. And they do what they want to do, and within a year, they're back in the same hole they were in before. So civilians would much rather fail on their own than succeed with the help of others. So, training at RTC, which includes such things as the meticulous folding and precise stowage of clothing, may sometimes be seen as nitpicky or unnecessary, but the highly technical, sometimes dangerous, and often unique surroundings you will find in the Navy, attention to detail can make the difference between success and failure, survival and disaster, victory and defeat. Everything you do in boot camp has a purpose, and the overall mission of RTC is to make you ready for the challenges and opportunities that await you in the United States Navy. All right, that's it for this installment. We'll begin it with boot camp life in the next installment. And until then, keep them happy.